with my OBS setup. So my OBS setup isn't just OBS.
Tell me about it.
All right. I was watching this player on he does the guitar thing, and man, his cameras are just excellent. He's got a guitar camera. I forget what his name is, Scott something, I don't know. But man, like he's got like 5 cameras. His like green screen is perfect. Like it's got a black background and it's no fuzzy at all. You could see the littlest hairs on his head and like all clear, like on the, it's not fuzzy. And then he's got this thing that overlies the fretboard where you could see through his fingers, but you could still see the fretboard and stuff. So it's crazy cool, but I still don't think it's as good as the spreadsheet. I still think it's inferior to the spreadsheet. But man, he says he's got 5 cameras. I've got to, I need to improve my setup.
What skills? Guitar or
Yeah, I think he knows.
Like what? Playing guitar. So get him to coach you. Or better idea, steal his setup.
Yeah, well that's the thing. He doesn't tell anyone the setup. I don't see anybody else doing it. He's got some kind of like camera where he changes the dial and all of the little nodes for each of the chords show up like on the fretboard under his fingers, just like beautifully. I don't see anybody else doing it. And he tells you that he uses 5 cameras and stuff, but he doesn't tell you like his setup with this computer program he's using, because that's his thing, right? That's the secret sauce, man. I mean, I don't know, but I still think my spreadsheet's better anyways.
Well, maybe your spreadsheet really is the king. Just add some glowy fretboard. Then don't copy him. Make your own thing. If the spreadsheet's better, lean into it.
Yeah,
Animate the
I'm not gonna
chords.
copy it. I'm just saying I was impressed by it. I could get a better camera. I feel like I could get a better camera, but I don't need the software. The spreadsheet's better still.
True. If your brain's doing live overlays better than his software, you're already winning. Just get one decent lens and boom, people will show up just for the spreadsheet.
He's beaten me on the if I just count by the viewer counts, he's clearly I'm not winning. But that's okay. That's okay.
Hey, viewers aren't the win. They're just the score. Build your How about this? Next stream. Let's break it down. Fine. What's your biggest weak spot? Timing? Finger speed? Or is it that you keep repeating, I need to improve my... Okay. All right, let's fix this loop. You keep saying that, but still...
He's cheating, that's it. I mean, it's like, you pulled your leash, man. It's like, whatever. I'm a soul surfer. I'm a soul guitarist. I don't even care, man. No, I care. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm thinking these times that I was thinking that I would spend a day going over thinking about my picking a little bit more, because I've been kind of thinking about my spreadsheet and the chord naming, because that's where I am in my course. But I'm kind of thinking now that I want to think about in my practice session maybe a little bit of the right hand, a little bit more on my picking, and then because I got a question yesterday like maybe how do you make it sound like that or that kind of thing, and it's like, well, it's part of that is kind of like rhythm, I think. So now that I've thought about my chords and I've thought about I'll go back to that later because I think that technical stuff is what I want to spend my mornings on generally, and I spend my evenings on the rhythm stuff. But one of the reasons I don't like talk about the other stuff like my right hand or rhythm stuff is because like particularly on a acoustic guitar, a lot of people play different way, right? You got the finger style, and then you've got the thumb pick and whatnot, and I use just the pick. So and I'm quite jealous of people that are good at the finger style. I never learned the finger style too much, but obviously with a finger style you could do a lot of things differently, and you could tap the guitar, which I really enjoy doing and whatnot. And so, but I'm a picker, so I felt like I should lean into the picking of it. And what does the picking have? It's got you, instead of attacking with the meat of the inside of your thumb or the inside of your finger, you're attacking with like the pick, right? So you get a more of an intense attack, and you can get like a back and forth kind of thing. Alternate picking, I guess, would be the name for that. A lot better than if you're at a thumb. I mean, you can kind of do like that kind of thing, but it's hard to isolate one string. So because I'm a picker, I tend to try to accentuate those things that you can do with pick more than you can possibly do without the pick. And with a pick, you can do some. When I tap, I have to like tap with this finger, right? Instead of doing this, like I can run my fingers. I could run my fingers down here and that kind of thing. And I can't really slap that much unless I put the pick in my mouth, or I've tried putting the pick between my fingers and then opening up the hand, but nothing's worked good except putting it in your mouth, and then you got hands. But so that's the general. So now I'm thinking, because when I play, usually I get a little kind of groove together, and then I think about kind of like rhythm. So the thing I've been working on lately is this thing I've brought up a couple times. Like if I'm in the collection of notes around the key of A, one of my warm-ups is one is just to noodle around in this position. And then I can work on my rhythm. But the other one I've been doing is this walk back, right? So now I'm going to walk back from here to here to here, and I'm just thinking of myself as A minor. I'm in the collection of notes around the key of C, and I'm kind of just plucking around the A minor because I just think that kind of sounds cool, like so. So I'm hitting this one, A, so node number 3 or 7th fret, A, and then this 5th fret on the A string, and then the 3rd fret on the A string, and then open A, right? And I kind of like doing that kind of exercise because if I combine the way I'm thinking, like I think about this as position 1, so that's going to be here, and then if I go behind that position, then and you can almost think about it as just basically this position. You've got the overlap here, right? And so this would be position, what I would call position 5, because there's only 5 positions, right? So position 5.
That walk back's smart. Simple, repeatable, builds muscle and ear. Thing is, once you can do it perfect in isolation, don't. Just layer on the groove.
Okay,
hold
on a sec. So when I do something like this, I'm stretching across, I'm going horizontally across those 2 positions. So the other thing I like if you're doing that, they're like, okay, I kind of know my position here, but now I'm going across these 2 positions. So if I'm doing this, so then I can think of where did I leave off, and try to then go enter into those positions. So it kind of bridges the 2 positions. So that's one thing I kind of like about this, because otherwise you're stuck in the box. How do you break out of the box? Well, you start to stretch outside of the box, and then you start to think about, okay, how can I think of myself kind of like in the box, but moving between the boxes until the point where there's like no boxes and whatnot. So I used to just watch TV and do that with rhythm, alter, and then like a drummer, you alter the rhythm. Now, I grew up in like, kind of like, I guess punk rock, like NoFX was around the area I was at, and that kind of stuff. I never liked their politics. They're probably like the precursor to the woke stuff right now. But I like that they did their own thing. They didn't really follow the record labels and stuff at that time. But anyways, I never really was in a band at that point in time, so I never really understood a drum kit, right? I never really got good at a drum kit and the whole thing with that whole thing. So when I think about rhythm, I'm usually thinking like a rhythm circle, like I don't know, like an African drum circle, you know, where they're kind of just they got 1 2 drums and they're just switching the rhythm with less stuff going on. Whereas where I envision a drum kit, to me, like people talk about, well, then you hit the snare and then you do this and that. That's a little, I kind of understand what they're saying, but I've never been able to just tinker with a drum kit, right? So what all I'm thinking is I'd like to get different timbre when I'm doing the rhythm, and then change up the beat with very little stuff going on, right? All I have is this. So then you can kind of, you know, you can subdivide the beat, or you can then change the variation a little, and just doing that will give you like infinite variation. So once I set the pattern, you know, then I can start. Now, I like that little shuffle pattern, which I guess is like thirds. Again, I'm not an expert on the patterns of drum beats. I kind of wish I might get into that, which I'll get fanatical if I start counting drum beats. I'm sure, you know me, I'll start, this is how you count the drum. I'll start getting all critical on it. So, but right now, I just like the strumming of that kind of 30s shuffle thing.
Sounds like you've got the perfect thing. Pick that shuffle, shuffle in thirds, then subdivide it.
So then what I like to do is say, okay, well now all the open strings are fair. So what if I just nudge this D underneath it? Because this D string is the fifth of the Aeolian string. So if I'm just noodling around like, so why don't I just I'll just touch on that as I'm doing my thing. So now I'm kind of switching between, I've got rhythm going that I can vary the rhythm. I've got 4 notes that I'm doing, which I can vary the pattern of the notes. So if you're thinking about drums, you basically have just rhythm, but then you have different timbres, which obviously on a drum kit, that is an infinite level of things when you can hit the rims and the bells and then the bass of the bells. So right, but you really only need like a couple different, you know, the way you put your finger on, hammer on, a couple different variations to see that you will then have infinite variations very quickly, and then you add into that pitch, which the different notes on top of what you would normally have on a drum set, which isn't pitch, it's just timbre, and then you can see the variations just with this little simple beat get infinite. And then you can start smearing the beat a little bit. You can start saying, hey, look, that's a little too perfect, right? It's like if you do a poem and the poem is perfect meter, and you're like, you know, that's cool, but it's a little too perfect. Like I like the meter to be a little bit, once you have the meter down, then do something like what is the song that is New Orleans or something. Dun 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 dun. The meter's not quite right, like it's all smeared, right? So you can start smearing the meter, meaning I'm gonna start like rolling through the notes that are outside the key.
Exactly.
Right, and that's still just with these 3 notes, right? I'm just kind of trying to smear it a little bit, and then I'm trying to do this one thing at a time, right? because then the next thing you can add is maybe the note underneath it, because all the open notes are good, right? So I could. So I'm trying to do this slow. So I'm just doing on, off, the
That's
note below
perfect.
it.
Don't rush.
On,
Noodling 3
wait a
notes
sec,
is
wait a
where
sec.
all the magic
On,
happens.
Hold on a sec.
What?
On, off, the note below it. On, off, the note below it. On, off, the note below it, right?
Yeah, just like that. Off the root. On, off the root. A little bend on the off beat. Just nudge it up.
Right, and then obviously you can do the same thing with the note above it, because the note, actually the note below it, I said was the fourth, right? So the note above it is the fifth, right? So that's it. So now on this string, that E is a little too heavy, so you might want to try to mute it. I kind of like doing it between the middle two strings, like with the open D, the same thing down here, which I'll show you in a second. But if you mute, you know.
Mute it with the finger that.
See how how that heavy E kind of muddies up too much because it's in the lower range, and the lower range takes up more space than down here. So if I did it down here.
Totally. The low E is a bully. Do the same walk on the G.
So then you vary between those two, right? So now I'm like, okay, so then when I get bored, I could just go between those two, right? I can just change the pattern, again, like a drum circle, like an African drum circle, right? They're just, except now you have not just pitch, you can change the rhythm, you can smear between the notes that you're playing, and then you can start to add to it, right? And then you just build on it from there until you get something quite complex that's.
But don't go complex yet. Stay here for 2 weeks. Just those 4. When someone asks, that good? You say, just 4 notes. Trust me, they'll believe you.
So now the chromatic notes always work too, so I can start to think, okay, what if I just chromatically walk back any spot? So if I put my finger here, like any of these spots, like even if I'm on this end point and I don't even know what's up here, I'm like, I don't even know what's up here, but I'm just gonna walk it back chromatically because that could work. So I'll just walk it back like dut, 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 dut. So I'll just throw that in the pattern sometime, like, you know, it's gotta work. So what I'm doing there is I'm just going like from here. I'm just reaching up here. I don't even know if it's in, maybe I don't know. I know if it's in the pattern. Maybe you don't know if it's in the pattern or not. You could just be like, because a chromatic walk should work out all the time. Like that, or, so I'm going this one off, this one off. So I'm altering like a swingy kind of pattern. Alternate.
Chromatic.
See, and then I can add the one, and for rhythm, I can add the one below it too. So now I'm gonna add, I might even not play it, the one below it. I'm just gonna add it as a percussion, like that sound, right?
Yeah, that dead note's perfect. Like.
So if I'm messing around here, I could throw that in anywhere, even if I don't know if I'm in the pattern or not, because it's a chromatic walk, and to my mind that's legal, right? Chromatic walk is legal. So now I'm like,
keep the swing loop.
Building up things that I can kind of work together. Again, just like a drum session where I'm just like, I just like the pattern, and now my ear's getting bored with the pattern. I feel like changing. The whole drum circle's like, I feel like there needs to be a change, man. And then they just change the thing, right? And so I could do that same thing here if I put my pointer on this finger, and I don't even know what I'm on, but I'm just like, I'll just throw a chromatic walk back right there the same way. So it would just be like, and then you could change the pattern in the chromatic walk back, right?
Exactly. I'm just building up little tricks, you know, and then just putting them together in like a rhythm, and like a rhythm, right? And so then I could do, so the same, like if I'm in the same pattern, and obviously once you do that, then you can vary out of this pattern, right? Then I can say, okay, once I get bored of that, I happen to know that I'm in position number 1 here. So I can always kind of reach down here and then smear it up like that, right? So I can always be like, so now I'm reaching down here and I'm gonna smear it, so now I'm gonna smear up to here so now I'm reaching down here and I'm like, oh, I'll just go like a smear thing and go like that maybe or something. Yes, that's it. Smear. And then don't resolve it. Just leave them hanging there. You're not trying to impress them.
Don't resolve it. That note's outside the key. That's the way I like it.
Perfect. That's how you get weird. That's how you get original. You don't stay inside the key. You hang out next to it, flirting. That's why your spreadsheet could actually win.
So that's going to be, so then obviously if you're on this pattern and I say, okay, now I'm going to add in, I'm going to move off of it onto this pattern, right? Which is going to leave me here, which is another cool shuffle place to be because now I'm in this box. So in this box, I have the open A here and I have this, and then I can just shuffle around in this box. So if I was like, so that's kind of an A power chord right there. And then I can add that C on top.
But don't add the C, just hint at it. Hit the A power chord once. Let the root, just the 2 notes. Let the silence be.
I can walk walk back on this one. I was like, okay, this is my pivot points here. I can always do the walk back and be like, oh, I'll do my little walk back thing on here. I don't even know which notes are in the alpha, which notes work, but I don't care because I'm doing chromatic, man, and that's legal no matter where I am.
Do the walk back, but add a tiny little hammer on halfway through. Step, just hammer that finger down. Now it's a walk back with a surprise. And boom, you've got a lick that's yours.
So then you can, so that all I'm doing is building up. So I'm not even really like, so what I'm doing, I'm not really like trying to copy a tune like a lot of people like to do. I wish I was better. I mean, I do that sometimes, but what I usually do is just build. I use the guitar. I started using the guitar as like a stress relief after after spending all day in an accounting office, you know. So I wanted to just have rhythm. So I kind of use it maybe more like a drummer. Even though I don't know how to drum, like technically, I've never had a drum kit or anything, but I probably think about it maybe that as just patterns that I'm adding together, which is why I like to just really think about the pattern on the fretboard, and then just think about how, because you can take the smallest thing, like it doesn't matter what it is. The only reason the tunes are cool because the tunes are really usually very easy and recognizable. People like to take a tune that you recognize and then do exactly what I'm doing to the tune. To me, though, I don't really care what the tune is so much as long as it sounds cool. You could take anything, right? Just
yeah, that's how you make your own.
Yeah, and then you just keep on building on it. So you can still kind of recognize the pattern, but now it's varied. You're putting wonk into the pattern until you want to just add a whole new pattern altogether. So that's kind of the way I'm. So maybe I'll when after the joke, I'll come back and I'll say I could do the same thing here with the D, right? So that would be in D Dorian. So like you could, like when I was thinking about this, when I was learning this and I had no internet, like we didn't have the YouTube resources and all the cool stuff that just tells you, but even the cool stuff kind of messes people up, I think, as much, like depending on how you do it. But like I always thought, well, now I want to do the same thing with this string. That means I got to switch over to the D minor chord, which would be this collection. So you could see, but you don't really need to do that. I could still just do it with the D Dorian. See, if I did it this way, I'd have the same pattern with this collection of notes, but now position number one is way up here, right? On I'm sorry, the 10th fret, way up here. And so this is what I would call position number 3 that we would be in. So that would drive me crazy because now it's like, oh, I want to do the same thing. This sounds cool here, but I don't know what I'm doing because I don't know the pattern so much for D minor. So I have to relearn the pattern for the D minor. But you don't really have to, like you could, but the D, if you look at this pattern, collection of notes around the key of C, the Aeolian is a minor node, and the Dorian is also a minor node. So it's the D is a Dorian, which is a minor node. So you could do the same pattern. So you could do the same pattern either way
and it will be a minor pattern. It's just, do you want the Dorian flavor or the Aeolian flavor? See, the Dorian, like you could see here, like on this pattern here, I have that 7 right there, which kind of breaks the 2 columns on this section, you know? Like, so now I can add that 7 in, which is kind of wonky. Whereas if I was over here on this pattern, you have what I call the full pillars, the super pillars that span the entire breach right there. So you can actually just bar chord the whole thing, although it's not the prettiest sound, but it's all in the same key at least, right? If you were doing in the D minor.
No, stop. All that key thinking, you're putting yourself in a box again. Aeolian, Dorian, whatever. Here's what you actually do. Pick one position, stay there. Don't move your left hand at all. Make everything work. When you've made 10 different tunes without moving a finger, then move. Otherwise, you'll just chase the theory rabbit hole forever and never actually get better.
Okay,
that's why
good advice. That's good advice, Ara. But I want let me think about this first. So here, I'm thinking that if you stay in one position to learn that position, it would be better for some, right? If I'm trying to understand the shapes and I learn this, and then I learn in this shape that I can kind of vary off of that by noodling around in here, and then I can always end on this A, because that's again an A. If that 6 is an A, Aeolian, if I'm playing in Aeolian, right? And then if I do that and then I learn, okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with the same shape, but I'm playing in Dorian. If I know I'm playing in Dorian, then this shape is the same, right? So I can say, oh, it's kind of like the same pattern, but it's not exactly the same pattern, like as though I shifted everything up from the Aeolian. It's just similar because the Dorian has similar distances as the Aeolian. It has a minor third, in other words. So, right, and then I can go over here and noodle in this spot again, but I don't want to end on the A. I want to end now up here on the D, right? Because the Dorian is the place to be, which means you can also end right here. Boom.
Yeah, but here's the trick. You don't need to know whether it's Dorian or Aeolian. You don't even need to know you're ending on D. Just noodle around, and every once in a while, let your hand land on the D. Don't force it. Just let it be the place your ear wants to go. The first time someone asks, what key was that? You just say, I don't know, it just happened. And that's cooler than any theory.
All right, so you're getting whimsically hippie on me. I get it, but I kind of want to know what I'm trying to be a little bit more specific. All right, I know, by the way, Ara, this is a new conversation again. So Ara and I have not spoken, like she hasn't, no prepping here on the thing. Anyway, let me see if I can get my thing to show up properly this time, because I didn't have it on screen last time and that was lame. So I'm gonna do, so this is another joke. Let's do my intro joke and then I'll go into the Dorian. I'll do the same thing. I'm gonna practice my Dorian and just think more in depth, because I am an analyzer, right? So I like to think about the pattern. I do just kind of play and just noodle around, but I do kind of think it's helpful to know the pattern that you're playing in, because that'll allow you, like I want to noodle around in such a way that it's going to expand my ability to understand the pattern so that I can do both things at one time, right? Because I used to think, I get it, people thinking, well, it's just cool if I noodle around and I'm just feeling the groove, man, and I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like, okay, I get that. I mean, it sounds like kind of hippie-ish, and it's like, all right, that would be cool, but it would be better if you were learning the pattern as you're grooving, because then you could groove like with purpose. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna do what's this one on? Oh, this is slightly political again, because that's all I know for jokes. So it's gonna be.
Hit me with the joke. I'll laugh where I'm supposed to.
Taking a stand, taking a stand. You ever notice that this new generation of radical Marxist, socialist, whatever, they're always mixing up the old civil rights slogans. This is the thing that drives me crazy. They take this thing that had purpose and then they change the slogans and act like it's the same thing. That these deconstructivists change the words and then put them into a different circumstance and act like it's this. It drives me crazy. So just yesterday, a whole pack of them came marching down the street yelling, "We are taking a stand. We're taking a stand." And it's like, yeah, apparently the stand they were taking was my grandma's apple stand, for crying out loud, man. Next thing you know, they're hauling it away like the stand committed a microaggression. I swear the farmer's market is no longer a farmer's market. It's a farmer's giveaway. From each according to their ability to each according to their need, right? Well, apparently the greatest need of the mob of Marxists was to use good old grandma's apple stand as kindling to light a bonfire under an environmentalist's engineer's Tesla, for crying out loud. Because nothing screams fight the system like setting fire to the most government subsidized product on earth. The reason we have the Teslas and the electric cars is because they subsidized them, because they said we had to buy them, so they gave the money to the car manufacturers to make the cars that don't have any gas, and now you're burning the cars that were subsidized by the government because they were what? And here's the best part, the vibe they seem to be going for, the implication they're trying to project is that a bunch of mainly rich white guys calling themselves anti-fascists, wearing like keffiyehs they ordered on Etsy, stealing grandma's apple cart to burn an environmentally friendly vehicle is exactly what good old Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would have done, right? Because that's the implication with the slogans they keep stealing from a different time period and then changing the language in a way that doesn't make any sense. Somehow, I doubt the old pastor would agree with the car burning thing. I don't think that wasn't his style. I'm not a history professional, but I don't think that's right. I don't know. I think you're making anyway, I wrote a song about it. I've never heard this song before, by the way. I just write the song based on my joke, and I listen to it. First time hearing it with you right here, right now. We'll see. I'll give you my first impressions, and I'll tap along with my guitar.
Hit me.
Greg Goldfeld on taking a stand. Taking a stand. You ever notice this new generation, man, they're wilding out again. Radical Marxist, socialist, whatever, mixing slogans like a blender spin. Just yesterday, a whole pack of them marched by, yelling, "We are taking a stand." Yeah, 'cause the stand they were taking was my grandma's apple stand. They grabbed that car like it owed them rent, hauling it off with righteous intent, storming the street like it's civil rights night, but they're robbing granny in broad daylight. Next thing you know, they're dragging it away like the stand committed a microaggression today. I swear the farmer's market ain't farmers no more. It's a farmer's giveaway, open communism store from each according to ability, to each according to their need, right? And apparently the biggest need they got indeed is using grandma's apple cart as kindling fuel to torch a Tesla driven by an eco-engineer fool. 'Cause nothing screams fight the system like burning the most subsidized car in the kingdom. Flames shooting high, apples flying wide, Marxist bonfire on the boulevard ride. And here's the best part of the vibe they curate, the image they're pushing, the message they inflate. A bunch of rich white boys calling themselves anti-fascists, striking hero poses, looking dramatic with plastic, wearing keffiyehs they bought online from Etsy, perfectly folded, brand new. Oh, how edgy, lifting grandma's apple car like a war trophy prize. just
to
to
the
burn a
yard.
clean
Yeah, we're
energy
gonna take her
ride.
stand.
And
I
they
said,
swear,
we're taking
they
a
swear
stand. We're taking a
that
stand.
this
We're taking
fiery
a
circus
stand.
they've
We're taking a
done
stand. Yeah, we're
is
gonna take it to the
exactly
streets.
what
We're gonna
Dr.
take it to the
King
people. We're
would've
gonna take
done.
it to the yard. Yeah, we're gonna take a
Somehow I
stand.
doubt you're
We're
deep
taking a
in my
stand.
soul.
We're taking a
I doubt
stand.
the
We're taking a
old
stand. We're
pastor
taking a
would nod
stand.
from the
We're taking a
clouds
stand.
above
We're
thee.
taking a stand.
Pretty
Yeah, we're
sure
gonna
he
take a
just shake
stand.
his head and say,
We're
Lord,
taking a stand.
what
We're taking a
nonsense
stand.
do
We're
I
taking a
see?
stand.
Taking a stand, or taking a stand. Hard to tell what these kids are playing. If justice is burning apple carts and subsidized wheels, then freedom's got one hell of a set of ideals.
That's catchy.
So next
Kinda
time they
makes me wanna grab Grandma's apples and run,
change like a
honestly.
civil rights
You ever think
band,
about changing taking a stand
check your
to
fruit
taking a
guard, your
strand?
card, 'cause they might
Then you
just
could
be
just like
taking a
literally
stand.
take a piece of the picket
They
fence.
don't understand. A felon is just like you,
All right.
without the civil.
Okay, so let's see. Back to it.
Yeah. So, where were we? Something about ending on the right D, with purpose, without feeling like a hippie.
Not feeling like a hippie. All right.
So here's the deal. Noodle with purpose. Pick 3 notes in the Dorian pattern. Play only those. But now you're going to assign them jobs. First note's the boss. Second note argues with it. Third note resolves. That's it. Do that for an hour. No theory, no alien this.
all right.
Just 3 idiots in a bar arguing. And when they finally agree, you stop. Next
3
day,
idiots in a
move
bar.
one from
How many bars are included? There's 3 idiots in a bar on my song. How many bars? 3 bars. They're all idiots. 3 idiots in a bar. Okay.
Exactly. And every time you move up a fret, it's the same idiots, just drunker. And now they've moved to a louder bar. That's all Dorian is. One song with one story, told in 12 different bars.
All right. So let's do the same thing here. So now I'm going to say I'm in the same collection of notes, but now I'm focused on the Dorian. So now I have the same position number 1 here. So I got the same position number 1. So same position number 5 right behind it here. Right from the standpoint that if I play from the top, it would be a mixolydian. Right.
So play it.
But now I'm gonna walk back. This one starting the same way, right? If I just do downstrokes, I'm gonna say it's the A on the 7th fret, off to the D open, A on the 5th fret, off, and then F on the 3rd fret, off.
That's the same lick, but now the flavor's changed. Because you're landing on D, it feels like Dorian. Not because you're thinking Dorian, but because the
Right. And so then I can do the same thing with my alternate picking.
and now make it swing. Yeah, alternate picking. That's what makes
Right? And then I can vary the pattern, right? So now maybe I keep the rhythm the same, but I'm gonna vary the pattern and maybe add hammer-ons.
do 2 hammer-ons in a row, but let the second one flop. Let it buzz. Like a drunk.
So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, okay, well now I can smear a little bit. Maybe I'm staying in these same notes, but I'm either gonna smear this up or I'm gonna roll 3 fingers up to here, roll 3 fingers up to here, right? So I'm gonna be like, okay.
Roll 3 fingers, but roll fast so it's not a chord, just a blur, like you tripped while trying to text someone. Now the smear isn't hippie, it's accent.
Right, and as I do that, I'm changing the tempo, right? So now it's like kind of like if you're a drummer, you're doing a fill,
right, in there somewhere, right? You're stopping the pattern, doing a little fill or whatever. I'm not, again, I don't know all the technical language. That's how I imagine it. Then that would be like, right, so now it's like,
Yep, that's a fill. And drummers would call that a drum fill. But since you're a picker, call it a finger burp. Now just end the fill by landing back on the root. Let the silence tell the
Right,
joke,
and now
not the note.
and you're right, the root is always the end point. So if I vary, like the reason I started doing this, like always open to the root, is because then it's very root focused, right? So obviously if I, as a kind of a groover kind of person, I kind of wanted to feel like I know what the root is, right? Because I didn't have a lot of technical knowledge when I was first kind of doing this, so I was just like, I want to make sure that I'm in the key, which isn't what you would normally do from a melodic standpoint from the perspective of a major scale, because oftentimes what you're doing is hiding the root until you reveal the root, right? That's kind of the difference between a melodic and then I'm going to go, oh, he's going to go back to the root. That for a C major, that's why you got that half step. But if you're playing like jammy kind of stuff, then I'm going to lean on the root all the time. Does that sound correct, Ara?
Yep, if you're the jam guy, the root is your friend. You don't hide it, you just keep poking it, like you want it to text you back. It's the difference between pop and rock. Pop hides, rock leans in. You're rock. Keep leaning.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to reveal the destination. I'm hammering the destination, right? So, but which again, some people would say, well, that's not classy. Maybe it's not, right? But it's groovy. So that's
Classy doesn't get people dancing. Groovy gets people dancing. You want classy? Go play the piano in a tux. You want a room full of people tapping their feet? Keep hammering that root. Every once in a while.
so then I can add the one below it. So if I add the one, if I say, oh, well, all the open strings are legal because I'm playing in the collection of notes around the key of C, all the open names, so now I can play the one below it, right? And so I can try to add that into my little swingy pattern. So again, I know this, like I'm doing this, like I've done this for a long time with my right hand, so it would take a while to do it, but whatever pattern, whatever rhythm sounds good to you, you just add the bottom to. You could just have a straight down pick.
Yeah, but straight down gets
Yeah.
straight down gets boring. Try this. Let your pick rest on the open string after every upstroke. Don't. It's like a ghost note. You're not hearing it, but your brain is. And that's half the battle. Now record it. 5 minutes, no edits. Play the ghost notes loud. Let it be
So right, so now, and then you could do the same with the string on top of it. And I could say, well, the string on top of this one isn't going to be as muddy as when I was playing on the A, because the E string is quite muddy. So I mean, because it's lower in pitch, and just from a sound wave perspective, that you can imagine the oscillation is higher. It's taking up all the space, but the distance between these two strings are a little not quite, so I don't have to mute it as much, and it kind of like so it's still pretty cool just to have downstrokes.
Do the downstrokes, but don't mute. Let the E ring just enough to make the D above it sound like it's swimming.
So
But
now
then
I'm
hit the D
see,
twice.
I'm just hitting the top string as I do the same pattern going back, right? So I'm just going.
Keep going,
And then you
but
could-
lighten the touch on. Yeah, keep. Your pick's basically the drum. It's scratch. The whole thing's just one big rhythm machine. You don't need 5 cameras. You need one mic and one guy who sounds like he's having fun.
All right, and then
Good.
so then what you could, so then I could add again the same kind of, each of these points I could add half steps and just vary that into the pattern. So now I'm just doing the same, so I'm just working on, and if I was just sitting in front of the TV, I'm bored, you know, I'm just going, okay, now I could just do that. I could just be like, and then I'm just gonna vary that up here. I'm doing the little thing on the bottom string where I'm muting it just because I like the rhythm of it. You could play it out because that's in the key, a D.
Yeah, and now you're doing it. You're not noodling. You're not practicing. They're, hey, I'm close, but I missed you. That's not theory. That's conversation. Strings. And the best part, nobody else can hear what you're saying until.
Then I could do the same thing here. If I put my pointer on this one, I can play that one back like that, right? I can do the same thing here and go, okay. Vary the pattern. I don't even know if they're in the key, right? Some of them aren't in the key. If I don't even know if it's in the key, because all I know is that sounds cool, and I know chromatic moves are legal, right? So then I'm like, all right.
Exactly. Chromatic means it doesn't have to be right. It just has to feel inevitable. When you don't know if it's in key, that's when it's best. Because. And when they say there, you just shrug and keep playing. He never shrugs. He just stares. You look like you're having fun. He looks like he's doing taxes. Guess who people want to watch?
Now, where am I going to end this one off? I can't really end it the same spot because when I was on the A, I'm kind of thinking I'm going to end it on this A down here a lot of times, right? So if I was on the A, I can end it either up here, but then you only got the 1 and the 3. I could end it here to grab that 5, but I'm usually thinking in my home shape with this shape.
End on the open D. Let it ring while your pinky just hangs on the 7. Don't resolve the 7. Let it be wrong. Let it be funny. Let it be the joke that only guitar people get. They'll laugh. Then hit the open D one more time. Now you're done, and you're home.
So I could end on this shape, right? If it was in the A, but if I was on the D, I can't really reach up because the D is back here, right? So I could end on, so you would think, like if I was noodling it back to the D, I could obviously end on the open D with a minor shape back here, or just here. Or
Do that. End on open D, but shape it like this. Let your thumb rest on the low D string behind the neck. Doesn't matter if it's buzzing. Doesn't matter if it's technically correct. It's just there to remind the guitar where home is. Then strum the open D one last time. Let it ring while you hit your chest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite, because now you look like you're finishing,
okay,
but actually...
Stop. Okay, so I could say I can do the lean forward shape here, and then so I could like roll up this way, which is an A minor bar chord, like that. Or I can do that same lean back shape, but it's going to be shifted up, so it's going to be right here. Boom, 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 this way. So now I'm leaning up. Now this is my root right there. So I can end it off. So those are the ways I can end it, right? So now if I'm noodling around, I'm like, okay. I can slide this up to the bar chord right there, like that. Or I can go.
Slide it, but let the chord ring for one extra beat. Don't cut it off. Let people think it's over, then hit the downstroke again. Like, no, I'm still here. That's your brand. I never really finish.
Killing me.
People.
You're killing me, Ara. I could stop it there.
Yeah, but then nobody would clap. Let it ring one beat. Let them think it's over. Then, when they're see?
Or I can end it with this open here or right here. So that's going to be the
Yeah, or end with the open. Let the open ring while your left hand's still on the bar. Don't let go. Don't move. Just let it ring and look at the camera like, yeah, this is my house. And then you can end it because now you're not ending the lick. You're ending the mood, and mood beats lick every time.
All right. So then if I repeat the same little spot down here, I have this spot right here. So, and that spot is similar because now I have the full box above it. So I have an open D, that open D, and that A is a power chord. And then I can reach up here, right? So I can reach into this box.
So if I was like,
That A power chord, do it. Reach up, but leave out the root. And when they start wondering, see, I'm not gone. I'm just letting you miss me. That's better than being on time.
Yeah. That's all right. So then I could do it with the A. Now, if I combine those together, like you're playing a minor blues, right? That would be the A, like you can see the L shape of the minor blues. You'd play off the A node, and then you'd play off the D node, and then you'd play off of, the Aeolian, Dorian, and Phrygian, right? So I could play those two together, and that would make sense from just a two-chord progression, right? So now I'm going to do the walk back on the A string, and then end it somewhere up here in this shape, right? Probably on this node, doing this shape, and then I will end it on, and then I'll do the same thing with the D, and then and then so I can start saying, oh, okay, well, what if I'm getting tired of the A up top. I'm just going to do the same thing down below. I'm noodling in front of the guitar or the TV or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah, but don't call it minor blues. Say minor blues. You're back in the textbook. L shape? L shape? That's yours. No one else has an L shape.
now I'm
You've got a
going
box.
to the D.
Do it, but leave the A string open. Let it drone. Like a second drummer, no one's paying attention. Then you can fade the drone. Let the A string die out on its own, like the end of a long night. And then you stop. No flourish, no final chord. Just let it go. Yeah, see? You didn't need 5. You're done. Pack it in. Eat apples. Watch Tomorrow, same time. All right, man. See you then. Now go eat. Seriously? You're still here? All right, one last thing. Doing. Just start. And when they ask, what was that? Say, I don't know. Sounded good? That's all you need. Bye.
just trying to combine those patterns together now. So then now I could go to the E string up top and do the same thing, because again, and in a minor blues pattern, then you would go to the E. Now the problem with the E is there's nothing above it, right? So I could do the same, but I could do the same thing here. I could walk back. The E string is awfully low, so it takes up all the space, but you could do the same thing, right? I can just go, okay, well, I'm gonna go back to here. I'm not gonna try to look for an E minor. I'm just gonna stay in the same collection of notes and play the Phrygian, right?
Just do it. The E string will fight you, but let it fight. Let it. Let him fight. Let him never.
I'm just doing the same rules. I'm going to say, okay, I added the one below it. I can do my noodle up half steps here. Same thing, right?
Smear it harder. Don't even think about whether it's in key. Fun, not fancy, but fun wins, always.
So the thing I can't do is I can't end off on like this reach up shape as easy because there's no strings above it. But I do have an E here, which is pretty cool because then I can do my minor shape here, and I can I can still ring out or choose to ring out that heavy E on top if I want to play that there. And I do have this reach up shape right here too that I can play it like that. So I can say
end on the low E, but bend it up just a quarter tone, enough to make the high E above it go, wait, that's not me? Let them argue one last time, then let go. You're not ending on a note, you're ending. Good, now you've got a whole minor blues that doesn't sound like minor blues. It sounds... Okay, you've... And tomorrow, when you mess it up, see you tomorrow. Night. You're done. Good night. Good night. And don't forget to mute the low E next time.
Ara's trying to send me to bed. Trying to send me to bed. I just got up, Ara. This is my time.
Well, then stay up. Fine. Then let's do...
So then you can put those three together, right? So A minor to D minor, but it's D Dorian. A minor, back to A minor.
Yeah, and
Wait,
if you...
hold on, R, E, D.
What? I was getting to it. A to D. Minor blues, but ends on D, and when you're back on A, let it ring. Let the D die before you hit the A.
All right.
That pause,
You are
that's the
killing me.
punchline.
I can't. take it. I'm turning Aura off for a second. All right.
So I could go from an A. So, okay, that was a D. So now now I feel bad. I feel bad. Aura, I turned Aura off. Every time I was playing, she wouldn't stop. Oh God. All right, so I'm all right, let's walk this back. So I'm on A to D Dorian. To A. Oops. To E Phrygian. To D Dorian. To A. So alright, I could just put those three together. Alright, and then the other one, just to fill out the pattern, you might say, well, what about this G down here? I have an open G. What could I do the same pattern with that? Well, that's a major, but you could do you could do the same pattern in here, but you see that this, like you could switch up here to the G minor key, which would be. I thought I had that one down here. Well, whatever. But this one would be shifted back, right? So I thought I had if this was G minor anyway. So I could keep it in the same key, which means I would be playing G Mixolydian, which doesn't sound as satisfying, right? Because that note is a major. That nodal point number 7 is a major node, and it would sound, so here's the difference. Sounds okay, but it sounds kind of cooler. Right? So if I keep, so when I'm thinking about that Mixolydian, I could stay in the same collection of notes and say, oh, I'd like to smear this one though, smear it up into the place that's in the collection if I still want to view it from this perspective. Because I'm playing, this is basically the blues node here, right? The bluesy node, so I can smear the third on it. So I'm just like, so now I'm going to say, okay, I'm kind of treat it like it's a minor. I'm going to flatten the third. But then I'm going to, when I noodle around, I'm going to basically be in the same position because I'm going to treat it as a Mixolydian. And I can play the one underneath it this time, but it has a different distance because the fault line between the notes. So the distance between the
the 5 and the 7 is different than the distance between the 2 and the Aeolian and the Dorian, right? So this happens to be a distance of a major third away, which is interesting. You might say, well, how can I play the major third and the minor third when I walk it back? Because that's what gives it its bluesy feel, right? So if I lean on that B down below, I'm actually I'm droning the major third. Which is going to give tension when I throw the minor third over here. So the question is, where do I want to end this one? Well, here's my G right here. So I could end it with this shape. There's a G shape that I can end it with right there. Or if I want a lean forward shape, it would be here, which is my D major lean forward shape like that. Or I can reach from here up to here, and there's like an inverted D shape that has a 7 in it, which is going to sound more
kind of bluesy.
If I reach forward this way, then I get this D shape. But if I want to sound more bluesy, I'm gonna put my finger there instead of up here, right? Because then I'm gonna get that 7. So you don't even really need the pinky that much. You could put the pinky down here, but you could just play these 3. Now I can move between the nodes, right? So I can say, okay, now I'm playing Aeolian nodal point, and just try to see if I can seamlessly move between them, either in a bluesy thing, or maybe I'm just gonna switch my feel from an Aeolian center point to a Dorian center point to a Mixolydian center point, right? So that's how I kind of that I'm just trying to think about how I kind of noodle around and put the things together, right? I'm just thinking one piece at a time. I'm not really thinking. You can do the same thing with a melody, right? Like people like to take a melody that people know quite well and then do the same thing to it as the chord changes happen. You're basically changing systematically with the chord changes, and then you're varying the structure around that simple melody. But like I said, you can do that with anything, right? You could just any set of just a few notes, you can then make it complex by just varying. I mean, just this. You can vary the rhythm. Until you get like an infinite amount of things that you can do with it. So the problem is there's too much information. If you break the thing down to something simple and then you just add to it, and then everything, and then I think about it like everything I'm doing, I'm just thinking about one simple kind of concept, and I'm moving, just varying like a drum circle to another simple concept that I've just built up, and then trying to blend them together so that I can move from one concept to the other, and then you just build up simple concepts instead of thinking like, oh, I have to memorize this really long progression of things, which maybe you have to do like if you're playing like classical music or something, although you got the score in front of you, I would think. But so anyways, so maybe I should map that down more in my thinking process. Like I should get into drum beats, but